Hello, Jesse Good here. Today I'm reviewing the LEGO Star Wars 2016 Droid Escape Pod. This has 197 pieces, 4 minifigures, and it retails for $25 in the United States. Now let's take a look at those minifigures. Here is C-3PO, and in my opinion, this is actually kind of a lame minifigure. And you may be like, what? It's C-3PO, come on. Well, the torso print is fantastic, don't get me wrong. And the head mold has always been good. But take a look at this, alright? This is the C-3PO from the promotional poly bag from 2015, and this is a C-3PO from this Droid Escape set in 2016. The one from the poly bag has so much better printing. I mean, it has printing on the legs, which they could have just reused that piece. And of course, it does have that new arm, which is only found in Episode 7. This is an Episode 4 set, but they could have just done a new printed arm on the right and used this print for the left one. Very lame that they didn't do that. I guess because this one right here was produced in China, so it was pretty easy to produce that. Well, this was probably produced, I don't know, in Denmark or something like that. So that was kind of a cost-saving measure. But still, I just wish they would have gone ahead and done that, especially since you're paying $25 instead of $20 for this set. Here's a classic, lovable R2-D2. This one actually has a new print on the top little dome piece. But a problem I've been seeing, which is apparent with mine as well, is that it's pretty crooked. You could just see how crooked that is from the top. I don't know. I guess LEGO still needs help printing all around a single piece. But either way, I still really like how he came out. Of course, if you don't know how R2-D2 works in LEGO form, you could actually move his little legs right there. And those are just made to kind of lock into the side, and altogether it's 4 pieces. So here's the first Jawa of the set. This is the 2014 version. The only difference between these Jawas are actually the torso print. You can see their nice face print underneath, which is kind of creepy and cool. And he has a little blaster as his accessory and some nice back torso printing. And then here's the other Jawa, which you could just compare their torso prints right here. You can see they're just a little tiny bit different. This one right here, you can see his face print underneath as well as his different blaster. And of course he does have printing on the back of his torso as well. So here's a Droid Escape Pod. Let's move these Jawas out of the way. And look at this sucker. It has some nice stickered pieces all around the outside, which it's funny because the original ones were printed, which I don't know why they didn't just print these, considering the original one was printed, these little panels. But this one's a billion times more detailed than that. This top part right here is printed, so that's nice. And these back kind of thrusters are on these little hinges, so you can move them around and position them to make it look, more realistic. But if you want to see what's inside, well, you got to open it. So how do you open this little escape pod? Well, you push this up right here, and this down like this. And inside, you have a space that seats our 2 favorite droids. Actually, R2-D2 is on these 2 little jumpers on the back, and C-3PO is on 4 studs, not a seat or anything like that. And then there's this handlebar. You see there's also this little stickered print right there, or stickered piece on this side too. So those just add kind of detailing in there. My favorite detail though is another little stickered part right here, but not that particularly. Rather, when you remove that, there's this printed tile which has the Death Star plans, very relevant to the scene in the movie and everything. And I think that's an awesome print. That just looks gorgeous on that. I love when they print like white on black because it makes it look really kind of professional and neat. But that's really it for the Droid Escape Pod. Very solid build. It's very sturdy, which is good. And you could just close it up, and you could actually contain the Jawas in there if you want to transport the set as a whole. So that's it, and now let's take a look at the manual and then the final verdict. Here's the box for a set. It's a thin $20 box, and it has all these little play features at the back. And of course, there's one instruction booklet, but there's no interesting advertisements in it. So overall, the Droid Escape Pod for 2016, it's basically like the 2012 one. That's not the worst thing ever. It is different enough to, I guess separate it from that one, especially since it's 4 years. They have to re-release a lot of these Star Wars vehicles that are very recognizable. I like how they did the Jawas this time instead of the Stormtroopers, because not only did it make it different, I feel the Jawas are more fitting for this scene than the Stormtroopers. But then again, people love getting original trilogy Stormtroopers, and it would have been cool to get one in a cheap set like this. So it's give or take. It could be a con or a plus, depending on how you look at it. But one thing that annoys me, or 2 things that annoy me, is first off the price, $25. I don't like how they add that $5 fee because it makes it less desirable than a lot of these other $20 Lego sets because it's like, oh, which one should I get? Oh, well, this one's $20 and it comes with these exclusive minifigures. This one has no exclusive minifigures besides R2, and the Jawas are cool to get because they are in more expensive sets than this set. But the other thing that kind of ticks me off is C-3PO. It's really lame that they didn't put the arm printing that this one from this little promotional poly bag has. That arm printing and leg printing makes it one of the most detailed C-3POs, and this came out 1 year ago in 2015. This 2016 one lacks the side leg printing and the side arm printing. It makes it look kind of weak, and it makes them look, not complete. It's like that's something they could have just released in 2012. So that's very disappointing in my opinion. I also like the printed tile of the Death Star plans. I think that's one of my favorite parts of the set, which is such a small part. And the escape pod itself works fine. But I'll end up rating this at a B. Not the best of the $25 Star Wars sets released recently, but it's not the worst, and I still think it's a satisfying Droid escape pod set. So that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.